Your brain weighs about 3 pounds, roughly 2% of your body. Right now, it's consuming 20% of everything you've got, every second, without pause. Most people feed it like an afterthought. Your brain operates like a metabolic vampire, constantly hungry and weirdly picky about what it accepts. What most people miss is that it's being constructed from whatever you eat. Your brain is 60% fat by composition. That's a blueprint, not an insult. The fat quality you consume shapes your neural architecture directly. Yesterday's lunch is now part of the machinery processing these words. The meal you had this morning will become tomorrow's circuitry. Let me walk you through what's actually happening inside your skull. Your brain demands 20% of your energy while occupying 2% of real estate. Terrible roommate math, but there's a reason for it. Neurons fire constantly, even while you sleep. During those hours, your brain consolidates memories, clears metabolic waste, and runs simulations you experience as dreams. All of that requires enormous resources. Glucose serves as primary fuel, and your brain responds to supply fluctuations with exquisite sensitivity. Blood sugar spikes and crashes happen every time processed carbs hit your system without fiber or protein slowing absorption. Your brain experiences these swings as mini energy crises, and over time, this instability creates hypometabolism, neurons running on fumes. But fuel represents only half the equation. Building materials matter equally. Those 86 billion neurons wear fatty membranes that determine signal efficiency. Omega-3 fatty acids, specifically DHA, serve as structural components. Without adequate supply, neural membranes stiffen, communication slows, and cognitive function suffers. Your brain didn't wake up this demanding. It was wired this way, and most of that wiring happened before you could choose what to eat. A critical period for taste development exists that most people have never heard of. We know about critical periods for vision and language. Taste has one too, and it closes early. During those first 2 years, what you're fed physically builds the wiring in your brain, shaping how strong those taste connections become. And here's the crazy part. The brain region responsible for processing flavor gets locked in during that same window, like a blueprint that just stays. Infant and toddler flavor exposure creates preference, not just familiarity. Your childhood mac and cheese, the specific peanut butter brand your parents bought, vegetables you were forced to eat or allowed to skip. I still reach for the same crackers my grandmother kept in her pantry. These experiences created neural circuits influencing what you crave decades later. What you crave was decided for you before you could even talk. Your brain wired those preferences in deep and locked them down early. And the thing is, those circuits basically harden over time, like cement setting. That's why the broccoli you hated at 5, you probably still push it to the side of the plate today. The rejection isn't psychological, it's structural. But recent research reveals something worth knowing. Those nets can potentially dissolve. Adult taste plasticity isn't completely sealed, though we'll return to that. Meanwhile, there's another partner in this system that's been communicating with your brain your entire life. Your gut and brain maintain constant connection, like a group chat running all day, every day. Your gut dominates the conversation. The vagus nerve runs directly from intestines to your brain's emotion centers. Think of it as a superhighway for signals, with traffic flowing both directions. Your brain tells your gut when stress arrives, and your gut tells your brain when something's wrong. Gut bacteria write most of the messages. Your gut bacteria are literally making brain chemicals. Serotonin, dopamine, GABA, the same stuff that controls your mood, your drive, whether you feel calm or anxious. About 90% of your serotonin? It's made in your gut, not your brain. So when someone's dealing with depression, it might not be a head problem, it could be a gut problem. Here's the useful part. You can alter what's in your gut. High-fiber diets feed beneficial bacteria that produce calming compounds. Fermented foods like kimchi, yogurt, and sauerkraut introduce helpful strains directly. Sauerkraut calming your stress response sounds ridiculous until you see the HPA axis research. When gut bacteria face disruption from antibiotics, stress, or poor diet, people experience symptoms resembling depression and anxiety. The gut-brain axis operates as a biological communication network that you feed or starve with every meal. Your gut talks to your brain, your childhood wired your cravings. But there's a darker side to this story. What happens when the whole system receives wrong inputs for years? Research gets uncomfortable here. Processed sugars do more than cause energy crashes. They disrupt insulin signaling in the brain itself. Neurons carry insulin receptors, and when those receptors become resistant, the same way muscle cells become resistant in pre-diabetes, cognitive function starts declining. Brain insulin resistance mirrors early Alzheimer's stages remarkably. Some researchers now call Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes. Metabolic dysfunction from too many blood sugar spikes travels beyond your bloodstream to reach neurons. Western dietary patterns, high in processed foods, refined sugars, and industrial seed oils, trigger inflammatory cascades damaging the hippocampus, your memory center. Omega-6 fatty acids from processed oils, consumed in massive excess compared to omega-3s, create chronic low-grade inflammation in neural tissue. Trans fats erode white matter tracks connecting different brain regions. These highways carry your thoughts. Damaged highways mean slower processing, poorer memory consolidation, reduced executive function. Metabolic dysfunction triples depression risk. Your brain ignores what you ate once. It listens to what you eat repeatedly. Inflammation from poor food choices affects mood regulation directly. Choices you're making today shape brain structures that will remain with you for decades. I'm not saying this to frighten you. I'm saying it because you have more control than you realize. The question everyone asks next: can any of this be fixed? No superfood exists. Let me clear that up right away. No single berry makes you smarter, and no magical seed reverses decades of damage overnight. Wellness marketing loves silver bullets because they're easy to sell. Research tells a different story. It reveals patterns, the same patterns appearing across different studies, different populations, different decades. Those patterns produce results. The MIND diet, a hybrid of Mediterranean and DASH eating approaches, reduced dementia risk by 53% in adherence. That's a pattern of eating emphasizing leafy greens, berries, nuts, fish, and olive oil, while minimizing red meat, butter, cheese, and fried foods. Omega-3 fatty acids from fish, walnuts, and flax seeds build and repair neuronal membranes, structural components your brain cannot function without. Fatty fish consumption correlates with elevated BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which acts like fertilizer for neurons. You can't purchase BDNF at a supplement store. You grow it yourself through what you eat. Berries contain flavonoids that cross the blood-brain barrier and reduce oxidative stress. Blueberries specifically link to improved memory consolidation and reduced dementia markers. The ketogenic diet, shifting the brain from glucose to ketones for fuel, reduced schizophrenia symptoms by 32% in one trial. I'm still not entirely sure why ketones work so effectively for some psychiatric conditions. But for people with insulin resistance or metabolic dysfunction, ketones provide stable energy that damaged glucose pathways can't deliver. Your brain responds to consistent patterns, not occasional interventions. What matters is what you do most days, not what you do perfectly. Everything comes down to this: your brain remains plastic, even in adulthood. Neuroplasticity doesn't end at 25, it just requires more intention. Those perineuronal nets that locked childhood taste preferences? Researchers have found ways to reopen that plasticity in animal models. Circuits that feel permanent aren't necessarily permanent, but change requires consistent inputs over time. Your brain ignores what you ate once. It listens to what you eat repeatedly. Signals you send through diet, day after day, week after week, become the instructions your neurons follow. Every meal is a conversation with your future self. You're either building something or borrowing against it. That metabolic vampire from earlier? It's waiting right now to see what you'll feed it next. It will take that food and use it for energy, take the fats and build membranes, let the fiber feed bacteria that communicate with your brain about how you should feel. You get to decide what those ingredients are, and now you understand what your brain actually needs.